Kind of sounds like rat. So rat, mouse. So you should be able to remember that. Hey, welcome to Good Enough Spanish. Today we're going over computer Spanish because I don't care what you do in the world. We're in the age of technology, and usually whether it's work, school, or business, you're going to encounter a computer at some time during the day. Okay, so you just have to know what it is. And even if you don't, you just need to know what some basic computer Spanish is. Else you'll be dumb in this technological age that we're living in and it's rapidly advancing. So get with the program. Okay, so I'm not going to go over everything with the computer, but just get you on a good enough level. Some basic things like what is a keyboard on a computer? Well, a keyboard on a computer is simply teclado. Teclado. That's a keyboard. What is a screen? Computer screen? Pantalla. Pantalla. Okay? You can say pantalla de computadora, but you don't need to do all that. Context. We know we're talking about a computer. Boom. They know you're talking about a computer. Boom. Let's keep it one word. Pantalla. Pantalla. Always take the path of least resistance in Spanish. The easiest path. That'll level up your Spanish much faster. Believe that. Now, also, how do you say mouse? Like computer mouse. It's a simple mouse. How do you say this thing in Spanish? Well, it's easy. Ratón. Ratón. Kind of sounds like rat. So, rat, mouse. Ratón. So you should be able to remember that. Computer mouse. Yeah, and this is a weird type of computer mouse I have. It's kind of tall. It's not the flat kind. I like it because it really takes the pressure off my wrist. So I really like this mouse. Yeah, so it's nice. Next, I just want to take a look inside, open up the control panel, because on a control panel, I'm using a Windows computer. On a control panel, that usually includes everything you need to know about a computer. So that's why I decided to go over that. So let's open up the control panel and read a few things, shall we? All right. Now, as you see at the top, it says panel de control. Panel de control. I just told you what it means now. And you can hear it. You should be able to hear it. Hey, that means control panel. Duh. There you go. Control panel. Panel de control. Okay. And you see control is right in there. So that's an exact spelling like it's spelled in English. Control, control. It's a little different pronunciation. Okay. And I kind of went over that in my last video where I introduced and talked about perfect cognates. So be sure to look at my last video. All of this information is here to help you. Okay? Now let's keep moving. Now we have ajustar la configuración del equipo. Okay? What does that mean? Let's look at it. Let's break it down. Ajustar. See adjust in there? Well, it kind of looks like adjust, just missing a G, a D like we have in English. So ajustar la configuración. Think about it. Don't get flustered. Configuración, what is that? You know, what does that kind of sound like? Okay. You've probably been in control panel before too. So think about it. Configuration. Del equipo. In equipo, think of equipo like equipment. It's got the root of the root word of the equipment. So equipo. Cool. So ajustar la configuración del equipo. So adjust the configuration of the equipment of your computer. Simple as that. Okay. And also I want to leave you with this Spanish tip. When you see, anytime we have TION at the end of a word, an English word that ends in TION, usually in Spanish, it's going to end in CION with that accent mark over the O. So that's a little tip for you. Okay, let's keep it moving. Now we have sistema y seguridad. Sistema y seguridad. Okay? Look at that icon. Always pay attention to your atmosphere, your surroundings. Language learning is not just about words and letters. Also, it's about your atmosphere, your context, includes your surroundings. So always pay attention to that. Like your icons. Sometimes you can look at the icon and that'll trigger the meaning right there. So usually if you've seen this icon before, it's some system and security. And that's exactly what this means. Sistema y seguridad. Okay? So under this, you can revisar el estado del equipo, revise the state of your equipment, guardar copias de seguridad de tus archivos con historial de archivos. So you can save copies of your archives and save it with history points and archives. Also, copias de seguridad y restauración. Okay, so that's if you want to make security copies of your security and restoration points, things like that. So we're not going to dig too deep to the little pointers under it. Let's go over to the next main heading, which is redes y internet. Redes y internet. What do you think that means? Look at the icon. A screen with a world. What do you think that means? Redes y internet is network and internet. And if you couldn't guess what internet, if you couldn't guess that looks just like internet, then I don't know about you. That's another perfect cognate. That's a borrowed word, really. It's a universal word. So usually universal words like internet and things like that, it's going to be widely used the same in across the world, okay, or especially in Spanish. So that doesn't really change, okay. Redes y internet, okay. Ver el estado y las tareas de red. Look at the state and the task in the network task. Look at the state and the network task. Okay, let's move on. Now we come to hardware y sonido. Hardware y sonido. Okay. Again, look at that icon. You see that speaker right there? Look at your icon. Okay. See that equipment and the speaker right there? A little like hardware and sound. And that's exactly what it is. Hardware y sonido. Now, I want to point out something here. You probably heard in Spanish, the H is always silent. H is always silent. And that is true, but not always. Okay? Not always. Now, the reason why is because hardware, that's a borrowed word. That's a borrowed word that Spanish uses. Okay? And again, with universal words like that, it usually stays consistent with the same pronunciation. So hardware in English, hardware in Spanish. Okay? So in this case, the H is not silent. Okay? So yes, a general rule, yes, the H is always silent in Spanish, native Spanish words. But in adopted words or sometimes words with different combinations of letters, which we'll go over in another video, the H is not always silent. You will hear it. So that's that. Hey, you heard it from me, Rich B. Don't say I didn't tell you. All right, so let's keep it moving. Now let's read a little something under that to the small print. Say, ver dispositivos y impresoras. So that's basically saying to look at your devices, dispositivos, devices, and printers, impresoras. Okay. Agregar un dispositivo. Add a device. Ajustar parámetros de configuración de movilidad y uso frecuente. That basically says to adjust the parameters of configuration parameters for mobile that you use frequently. Okay? So, let's move on. Now we come to programas. Programas. Now, look at the icon. Okay? And look at the word. what English word do you see in there? And it kind of sounds like it. Programas. Give you a hint? Programas. Program. You got it? You got it? Yeah, program. Just like I always say, usually, a lot of times, not all the time, but oftentimes you'll see the English word hiding in the Spanish word, okay? Like programas, it's one of those perfect cognate type words that I went over in my last video. So it's just a little slight different pronunciation, but it's there. Programas. So there's programs. Desinstalar un programa. Desinstalar un programa. Uninstall a program. Probably seen that in your control panel before. So that's why this is a good environment to learn in, because it's something that you're familiar with probably in English. So by looking at it in Spanish, it helps it to stick better, because we're learning based on a environment that you're probably already familiar with if you do anything with your computer. And another tip, when you see des, D-E-S, in front of a Spanish word, that usually means to undo something. To undo something, des. Okay, so let's keep it moving. Now on the right side, we have cuentas de usuario. Cuentas de usuario. Look at that icon. Kind of look like a person to me, right? How about you? All right. So what do you think that means? Take a wild guess. Cuentas de usuario. If you guessed it, yeah, that means user accounts. Cuentas de usuario. Cambiar el tipo de cuenta. Change the account type. Okay? Now we have apariencia y personalización. Tell, I like that word. It just rolls off the tongue. Personalización. Smooth. Once you start learning Spanish, you're gonna learn how to handle these words. Don't let these words bully you. They sound big and bad, but once you learn how to handle them, you can tame them down to your level. So just hang in there. Keep learning. Keep learning. Hang with me. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're getting value, and click that like button, because, hey, you don't want to miss a thing. So definitely stay tuned to Good Enough Spanish. All right. And let's go to the next one. But let's look at that icon first. Remember, always pay attention to your context clues. Again, language is more than just letters and words. Think about your context, your environment. It can drastically change the meaning of some things just by context. Okay, so we see a world with look like something like a clock on it. So what do you think that means? Whether you know what the Spanish means or not right now, you should gather what it means just by that picture, just by that little icon. And if you guessed it, yes, reloj y región means time and region. How cool is that? That's right, time and region. Reloj y región. Yeah. Region, hey, that's the English word right inside of it. It's the same. Region in Spanish, region in English, and región in Spanish. Just with that accent mark over the O and different pronunciation. So, hey, if you've been following my videos, also been going over your alphabet and vowel, watching those videos that I made for you, then you'll start understanding the pronunciation of these Spanish letters, and it won't seem so mysterious to you. Okay? I'm here to help you demystify Spanish so that you can learn faster and easier. That's what it's all about. Okay? Now let's go to the next one, which is accesibilidad. Accesibilidad. Okay? Think about it and look at that icon. We've seen it before. Think about it. Accesibilidad. What does it kind of sound like? That's right. Accessibility. Accessibility, accessibility that. Accessibility, accessibility that. Okay? Another tip, another Spanish tip I want to leave you with is anytime we have an English word with ty at the end, it usually changes to dad, that, in Spanish. So, accessibility, see, that ty changed to that. Now, I'm not like a hard dad like dad, but that. Accessibility that. Not accessibility dad. Accessibility that. There you go. And it says, permitir que Windows se judiera parámetros de configuración. Optimizar la presentación visual. Okay? So basically permit Windows to suggest configuration parameters and optimize the visual presentation. Now, if you got value out of this video, do me a favor, reach out and smash that like button. Also remember to subscribe because you don't want to miss a thing. And until next time, remember, you don't have to be perfect. Just be good enough.